Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. Today I'm talking about Vinyl Me Please and whether or not we're watching the end of this once great company. There's a bunch of links down below. You got links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist that I put together every week, and the Patreon page. So make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button down below, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So if you're unfamiliar with who Vinyl Me Please is, they are a vinyl record subscription club. They started way back in 2013. They, like the first month, I want to say they had like 10 or 11 subscribers. As of 2024, they've grown to over 20,000 subscribers across the globe. So Vinyl Me Please has a couple of different tracks that you can subscribe to, and that's going to be your main album that you're going to get every month. You can always swap that to go to a different track or something else from their store to kind of mix and match what you want for that month. So there's an Essentials track, which is just a mix of all different genres. There's a country track, there's a classics track, which is like soul, jazz, R&B, that kind of music. Then there's a hip-hop track, and then there's also a rock track that they added late last year. So for the last couple of years, I kind of went back and forth on whether or not I wanted to join Vinyl Me Please, because it's not cheap. I want to say it was, at the time when I first started looking at it, which was like 2019, 2020, I want to say it was like a little over $300. Last year, when I did end up subscribing to them, for the full 12-month subscription was a little over $400, which I know is not cheap, but they were running a good promo. I got like 30% off the yearly subscription, plus they gave, I think it was 8 or 10 albums for free along with it. So in my mind, it kind of helped justify some of the price. Plus, they added the rock track, and I liked what they had released previously with that rock track. I think they started it in September last year, so it was only like 2 or 3 months into that I subscribed to their service. But previously, they did a really cool, a couple of Sublime albums. They did Stone Temple Pilots #4, and really what I was looking forward to was there was all this talk that they were going to release a Black Sabbath album in either late 2023 or early 2024. But by the end of the first quarter of this year, I noticed that there were some problems with Vinyl Me Please. They really kind of they stopped having these big name albums. You know, I kind of lost some interest in what they were doing with the rock track. And really for the last probably 4 or 5 months, I've either swapped my rock album for another track, or I've just kind of held on to and kind of saved it as store credit to kind of buy something later on down the line. And then this whole scandal erupted in the spring of this year with the whole pressing plant issue. So kind of going back to 2022, Vinyl Me Please announced that they were going to, at least the way they kind of made it seem initially, was they were going to build their own pressing plant, because all the production delays that Vinyl Records had seen over the last couple of years prior to that, they were going to kind of bypass all that, build their own pressing plant, and kind of build out their capacity going forward. I think that pressing plant has really kind of led Vinyl Me Please to where they are now. So when the CEO and CFO went to the Vinyl Me Please board back in 2022 to kind of pitch this whole idea of a pressing plant, the board at Vinyl Me Please was under the understanding that this plant was going to be completely separate from Vinyl Me Please. It was going to be an independently run and operated system. It was going to be funded outside of Vinyl Me Please. But what they didn't know at that time was the CEO and CFO allegedly had already funneled about $200,000 out of Vinyl Me Please into this new pressing plant. So in early 2024, when there was all these delays and the plant still wasn't up and functional, the board started looking into the relationship between the CEO and CFO and Vinyl Media Pressing, which is the name of the plant. And then they started kind of unraveling all this stuff that had been going on for about 2 years. Because Vinyl Me Please was not supposed to be financially invested in the construction of Vinyl Media Pressing. So they found out that all this money had been funneled over. They found out that the CEO, CFO had been using, or allegedly had been using, Vinyl Me Please employees to kind of help push and promote and really kind of work on the ideas of this pressing plant, when there was, none of that was supposed to be happening. So ultimately, the CEO, the CFO, and the Chief Strategy Officer, all three of them were fired from Vinyl Me Please. All three of them, there's a lawsuit ongoing against them also now. So there's kind of, like I said, I think that was kind of the basis of a lot of the financial issues that Vinyl Me Please is now running into. And then last month, Vinyl Me Please sent out an email to subscribers saying that as of October, they were going to discontinue the rock track and the country track. And to be completely honest, the whole idea of the rock track is what initially got me to finally subscribe to their service. So as soon as they announced that, I was probably going to be canceling my subscription. And then I got this email and kind of going over these huge price increases that we're going to have. So like I said, I was a 12-month subscriber. So the current rate was $435 for a year. The new rate that I would have to resubscribe to was $529, which is about a 22% price increase over last year's price. And I understand that there's been really big price increases as far as shipping goes over the last couple of years. So I understand that there has to be some kind of price increase, but this is the second huge price increase that Vinyl Me Please has had in the last 3 or 4 years, where they're kind of pricing themselves out for a lot of people, because you don't have to have a Vinyl Me Please subscription to buy their albums. When they have their records of the month every month, you can sign on for 1 month. The 1 month price is going to jump up to, I think it was like $48 before. It's going to be in the low to mid 50s now if you want to just buy that one album. So there's a lot of people out there, they're going to just kind of cancel their subscription because they know they can still buy a 1 month subscription if they really want an album or a release. One of the big questions I have about Vinyl Me Please is, because they were going to increase their capacity, they were going to be pressing all these albums through Vinyl Media Pressing, they started doing all these pre-orders for all these albums that had been out of stock for a long time, that people have been asking for. So they're going to press them, the reissues, at their Vinyl Media Pressing plant. So they took all these pre-orders, and now that's kind of all up in the air. Now I've got 3 or 4 pre-orders through them. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to see those now. As far as the quality of these Vinyl Me Please pressings go, I mean, they're really top-notch. They're really hard to beat. They come in a really nice packaging. They do typically have, with the Essentials track, they always come with like an art print. They are really high-quality products, so you're paying a little bit more money, but I think you're getting a good value from the product that you're buying. But still, like $53, $54 for an album, especially since a lot of these albums that they press are 1 LP releases, I still think it's kind of pricey, and it's going to price a lot of people out. I think they're going to lose a ton of their subscribers over these policies. And something else that they just announced was they were going to end international shipping. So about 15% of Vinyl Me Please customers are outside the United States. So from what I understand, they're going to, anyone that has a subscription, they're going to be able to finish out that subscription. But once that subscription ends, Vinyl Me Please is going to cancel. They're not going to have the option to renew it. And for anyone out there that has shipped albums internationally, it's expensive. I've only done it a couple of times, but I know if I ship something outside of the U.S., it's going to be at a minimum $25, if not even more than that, depending on where you're going. So I understand that the increase in international shipping rates is really affecting their bottom line. So I understand, yes, they are going to lose 15% of their business off the top, but they're probably not making a lot of money off those albums anyway because of the international shipping rates. So if Vinyl Me Please has about 20,000 subscribers monthly, and they lose 15% of that, that's about 3,000 subscribers they already know off the top they're going to lose. So that's why, and I know there's a lot of people out there like myself, they're going to end up canceling their subscription or not renewing their subscription. So I think total, after all this is said and done, I think they're going to lose somewhere between probably 40 and 50% of their overall membership, which, when you look at increased costs of licensing and shipping and all those other factors that are going into it, because as far as the overall production of albums, the price really hasn't increased a whole lot over the last couple of years. A lot of the increases have been shipping and things like that. So, outside of the actual making of the album. So you kind of factor all that in there, and I just don't see how Vinyl Me Please can really be a viable business here in the next couple of years. And I've talked to people that have been Vinyl Me Please subscribers for 6, 7, 8 years, and that have also said, because of these price increases and really kind of the lack in interest of recent album announcements, that after all those years, they're going to finally be canceling their subscription also. And if you look at this as just like a pure business sense, I think they're making moves that they have to make. They've lost all this money, especially with the whole scandal with the whole Vinyl Media Pressing plant and all that stuff, and all this money that's been funneled, really probably illegally from Vinyl Me Please to the pressing plant, that they have to find ways to kind of make up that bottom line. and kind of return to a profitable model. But ultimately it impacts the music listener, the people that have been loving their albums for years, love these releases, but because of these price increases, they're just no longer able to support them. And even though they make a high quality product, if you're talking about an album costing you, $53, $54 for one album, compare that to what Analog Productions has been doing with the Atlantic 75 series and some of the other higher end pressings that they do, where a lot of those are 2 LP, 45 RPM, and those are going to run you about $60. And as nice as the Vinyl Me Please pressings are, they're not going to compare to what Analog Productions does with those releases. I think what might save Vinyl Me Please is the fact that they do have a nice long line of really highly collectible box sets that they do. And I think kind of moving forward, if they kind of shift their focus to doing more of those, I think they might still exist in a few years. But, the Vinyl Me Please that we've known and loved for, 12, 13 years, I think is going to be gone in here over the next couple of years as they kind of shift to doing more of those box sets only. But even as nice as those box sets are, they've seen huge delays in those also. There's, cases of or instances of these box sets being delayed 6 to 12 months and people being really frustrated over it. And I think that's all kind of playing into this, this is kind of a bad snowball effect for Vinyl Me Please to get them to where they are now, where they're trying to have to slash all these costs to really kind of stay a profitable business. And to be completely honest, had they just discontinued the rock track and the country track and discontinued international shipping, I probably would still resubscribe to them. I probably would have renewed my membership, maybe not for another year, but maybe for another 6 months to kind of see how it's going to go. But with a 22% price increase, as much as I like the products, I just can't do it. It really kind of puts them out of my price range. So I think we're really watching the collapse of Vinyl Me Please. I don't think they're going to be around in the next 3 or 4 years. I shouldn't say that. I think by the end of the 2020s, I don't think Vinyl Me Please will be there as we know them now. I think they'll kind of struggle along for the next couple of years doing these monthly memberships. But eventually I think they're going to have to discontinue all those and maybe try to focus strictly on doing those box sets. Well, that's all I got for you today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. When it comes to Vinyl Me Please, like I said, I love their products. I understand what they're trying to do, but I think they're going to lose 40 to 50% of their memberships, and it's just going to absolutely destroy this once great company. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys are planning on staying with them, have you even thought about it? Have you ever had a Vinyl Me Please subscription? I know people that have, when they did the big price increase, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, I know a lot of people backed out then. So I'm kind of interested to see how this kind of goes moving forward. But let me know what you guys think. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.